was a peacekeeper. She answered the call. She volunteered. She had courage and honor, and she wanted to serve her country. And I'm sure as the days move forward, we're going to hear a lot of really good stories about Sarah and her life. We want to pray as well for Andrew Wolf and his family. He is still under medical care, obviously, and in very critical condition. We are remaining in contact with the Guard and the administration and law enforcement as they're managing as we move forward. Let me just be clear here. This was not a random act. They were targeted. Their basic assignment was to be a presence in D.C., to help D.C. become a safer city, and it was working. The crime statistics are way down on violent crime, murder, carjackings, and other incidents. And I mean, I saw them in Washington. I'm home right now, but saw them in Washington quite frequently, and would stop and talk, and they were helping people, and giving people the assurance that it was safe. And DC has not been safe. I agree with the district or the U.S. attorney in the District of Columbia, who says the perpetrator will be charged to the highest extent. I agree with that. This is an attack on our military, on our law enforcement, and it should be charged at the highest levels. I think what West Virginians and has been decided for our Guard is that the ones that were remaining there, the 150 or 60 that were remaining in D.C. past, I believe, the 15th or so of November, volunteered to stay. I like that idea that now for West Virginians to be in a voluntary status. We've certainly served our time over in D.C. Our Guard has. Very consistently, and my understanding has been one of the main supports of the D.C. National Guard and the Metropolitan Police. I believe the capital city of our country needs to be safe, and that's what they were doing. I mean, just to frame it for you, if you weren't over there, coming out of Union Station, Charlie and I were coming out of Union Station one day. There were some guardsmen there. We stopped to talk. They all four from West Virginia. Basically, they said all we're doing is trying to help people, kind of keep the peace. If people get, accosted aggressively, we might step in, but no shows of force or anything. And what this was doing was allowing the DC police to really police the more violent areas and sort of alleviate some of the more difficult tasks or the task of manning the transportation centers and the metro stations, which you see is where our guardsmen were. So I think the president, I don't know where he's going to draw his 500 extra guardsmen from. I think West Virginia should stay in a voluntary basis, and that will be up to the governor. What kind of vetting processes do we have? Are they thorough? Are they, or are they, obviously when they came into the country, there was no vetting, no organized vetting process. People were just brought in. And that was a concern I had at the time, that I voiced at the time. And that's why I voted for the bill to have more proper vetting of these people before they were allowed to enter the country. And so now, according to reports, he was granted an extension. How did that happen? What kind of parameters do we have? Are we actually doing this, or is this a perfunctory thing? And so I think that this is a sad way to point out that we don't have good and accurate information, and we need to get more granular. And I think that's why the president's put a halt on a lot of this, so that we can evaluate our processes. If you look at what Sarah and Andrew, as part of the West Virginia Guard, were doing, they volunteered on a mission that the president asked to come to Washington, D.C., our capital city that is riddled with violent crime. Half a block from where my apartment is in D.C., when I'm there, a security guard was carjacked and murdered, sitting in his car as he was waiting to go into work. This was not an unusual occurrence in what was happening in D.C. So by bringing the National Guard or bringing a presence to the district, what happened? Murder rates are down, violent assaults are down, carjackings are down. People are safer. I felt safer. and just by the presence. They weren't, policing and brandishing weapons and serving subpoenas and breaking up drug crimes. They're basically peacekeepers. And I think if our mayors don't step up and keep the peace in our larger cities, I would think in our states, I would say that we would need cooperation from the governors. I would think the governors, like in Tennessee, when the president offered the guards assistance in Memphis, which is the #1 city for crime in this country, the governor said, yes, thank you. We would love to have some assistance. So I do think that if you go to other cities, you have to work with the local authorities. It's certainly the governor. And I know that's a source of controversy. We'll see where that goes. It might be in the court systems right now.